Hello, this is Mike from Dimensional Walking, and today I'm going to do a video basically on alien encounters that have in the encounter they have a observation of owls or deer. In some cases, also some other maybe big-eyed terrestrial animals. Okay, that seem to be in the mix, which is very curious. And I noticed this when in years past, I did my interviews, probably over 1,500, with contactees and abductees. And a lot of times in those interviews, they would talk about um, seeing these big eyed, um, like owls that were standing in their driveway, or they would see looking out their window. All of a sudden, they'd open the drapes, and there was these two or three deer that had their eyes wide, really wide open, and were looking inside. Okay, so I decided to go ahead and do some deep dives into various, uh, reported UFO sightings, alien encounters, and see what I could come up with. Because I started thinking, well, Jesus, it just couldn't be in all the ones that I've did my own personal interviews on. It probably had to be bigger than that. And I was quite surprised to find out that some of the most famous encounters that probably many of you have heard of had some talk about owls or deer in it. And so, anyways, I wanted to go through some of those today, and I think you're going to find them pretty interesting. So here we go. Here we go. The first one is the famous Kelly Hopkins encounter, and that was in, excuse me, in 1955. And this was, and again, I'll give you a little bit of a background here. This was about four members of the same family, and they were basically one night, and this was August 21st, 1955. Their farmhouse in Hopkinsville, Kentucky, was just completely, I don't want to say covered, but I guess it sort of was like being covered by these 11 small humanoids with these glowing eyes. And they swarmed around their windows, and they were just making a ruckus. And they had these really wild, rapid movements, and they were doing screeching and hollering. And the additional thing that I found out by doing my research was that, and I never heard this before, that there were owls that were hooting just wildly outside. Seemingly, they were fixated, the owls. This is what the witnesses said, on this whole commotion that was going on. And eventually, these whatever these other creatures were, some people call them goblins or whatever, forced the family to drive off. But the interesting thing, the next day, the owl sound, the hooting and the carrying on, was continued. So it was for the family. It was extremely unsettling couple days, to say the very least. So, anyways, there are some owls going on there too. The next one is a Exeter incident in New Hampshire. Now, we all probably know what I'm going to say as far as what the incident was. This was an incident with Norman Bassett and Betty and Barney Hill. And so this one had to do with a deer, and they were driving home. I guess the driver, who was Norman, he was driving Betty and Barney Hill home, and I don't know where they went, but anyways, they were coming back home, and they noticed, of course, the bright light in the sky, and Benny and Barney claimed that they didn't have no knowledge of that at all, no memory of the trip at all. Later, all three of these people had vivid nightmares featuring strange symbols, aliens, medical examinations. Notably, in Betty's dream, they were placed near a large, startled deer before the encounter developed. So here we are, a large, startled deer. Probably its eyes were wide open, and that stuck with her too, and it was stuck during the hypnosis period. So there we go, a large deer. Okay, then the next famous, I guess in this case, this is famous too, the Rendlesham Forest Incident. Now, I've already done videos on the forest incident, and but in this particular case, the information I found was that there was the two main players in this, the two main characters uh, were these two colonel corporals, and one was named Jim and the other one was John. Anyways, while they were patrolling in the forest, they encountered some the strange lights, the metallic sounds, and the distinct impression that UFO had landed somewhere on the proper on the facility. During the observations, and again, I had never heard this before. And in fact, the interesting thing about the forest event, I actually had interviewed a guy in Albuquerque, New Mexico, that claims, and I did do some checking, some background check on him. He was there during the event, and he told me a lot of stuff. Now, he did not witness the UFOs. He was not one of these two people, one of the two corporals. He was there, and he heard a lot of the information from some of the people that did witness it, actually. And at no point did he talk about owls. Okay. But digging deeper into the thing here and doing my research, I did find there was during the observation, the two corporals mentioned that there was hooting owls that were hooting and hollering throughout the observation, which made the thing even extra strange. They kept on saying that these owls would be doing this, and why were they doing it? Nobody seems to know why. Okay, so here's another one that's close by to where we are here in Oregon. It's McMinnville photos. And of course, this is a guy named Bob Trent. And he was a farmer, and he snapped a kind of, I guess it was a famous photo. Appeared to be a disc hovering behind at a pretty good distance. But upon closer inspection, he claims he saw a humanoid figure standing near the object. And and of course, he said this humanoid figure had these owl-like eyes, and you know, again, the word owl came into it. I thought that was really odd. Now, yes, it's probably was a gray alien. There's no doubt about it, but he actually said owl-like eyes. So a little bit of a mention of an owl again, and that was in 1950. Okay. Okay, so then there was this Cash Landrum incident in 1980. And I'd heard about this one before. I don't know if it would be considered famous or like the other ones I told you about. But this was from about, let's see, there was three witnesses. I think one was Betty and Kobe Landrum. And then I'm sorry, it was Betty Cash and Vicky Landrum and Kobe Landrum. I think they were husband and wife. And while they were driving down the road, they saw this large diamond shaped object hovering in the sky, emitting intense heat and light. Now, I'm not sure. uh, I guess I'm going to ask the question to you is I don't know how they knew it was heat, but light, of course, they could. They're reporting seeing deers running frantically in the surrounding fields, seemingly agitated by the craft. Witnesses suffered. Oh, apparently, witnesses did suffer some burns and other symptoms after it. But again, deer were mentioned, that there were deer running around going crazy in the fields. Next one was Flatwoods Monster. This is in West Virginia in 1952. Um, so there were seven locals, including some children. And the story goes that the group of children and adults ventured into the woods to investigate a mysterious object that had crashed nearby. They described encountering a tall, metallic creature with glowing eyes and pungent odor. And throughout the encounter, again, there were owls that were screeching loudly, amplifying the fear and the eerie atmosphere around there. Again, owls screeching. Okay. Okay, next one is another famous one though. It's Pascagoula abduction, and this is these two guys. One was Charles Hickson and Calvin Parker, and so they were fishing, as the story goes, on the Pascagoula River, Pascagoula River, claimed to have been abducted by these humanoids with large hypnotic eyes. They reported being levitated in their craft and subject to physical examinations. It's exactly the way the story had gone before. But throughout the ordeal, what sticks in their mind was that there were owls hooting and screeching throughout, which made the event even more unsettling. So again, the question is, what are these? Why? Why are owls involved? And why are deer seen? It's over and over again. Okay, let's see. I think this is maybe my last one here. And this is a famous one too. This is the Lonnie Zamora incident in Mexico in 1964. So Lonnie was a state patrol guy, and I lived in New Mexico, and I actually met one of his friends, and he verified a lot of the stuff about the event that Lonnie had told him. So, anyways, so there was this. So Lonnie was on patrol, witnessed a strange egg-shaped object land in the field. He observed two small figures in white suits near the near the craft and heard loud screeching sounds. Of course, then it was investigated pretty thoroughly by the government. But I had read and I've written about this event, but I never heard about these large um, screeching, hooting, like a owl type sounds that were around this event throughout the event. So, anyways, so what is it? Why? Is it because these are really gray aliens, or these are there's a frequency that the UFOs or the aliens give off that irritate deer and irritate maybe owls? Like I say, during the interviews I did with abductees and contactees, many of them, not all of them, but many of them do talk about having owl sounds, seeing owls close up, fall owls. I think one of the ones I did, she said that there were in their driveway and there were 5 to 6 foot high owls, which didn't make any sense. I mean, my first thought always was that these were just kind of shape shifted owls that maybe people would be more comfortable than seeing 5 or 6 foot aliens standing there by their driveway. I know of people that again had opened their drapes and there was a huge a huge deer that was there with these huge eyes. Now, again, that could have been, aliens just wanting people to feel a little more comfortable because they were face to face with an alien. I really don't know, but I'm sure there's people out there that have had these experiences. And if you want to share them, please share them on either at my website. I mean, not my website, my email address is dimensionalwalking at gmail.com, and or comment here if you like. So with that said, that's it. We'll see you. Bye bye.